Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we are taking a look at the Tier 8 USN destroyer, the Benson. And before we get going, taking a look at the stats, I will want to apologize for the other day's stream. Unfortunately, the streaming software I was using was set up to where my microphone was on mute, and I did not realize this until about halfway through my stream. Now, I did take a look at the French cruisers, and if you are curious, you can go take a look at the video. It is still on YouTube. Unfortunately, once again, halfway through the video, you won't hear my commentary, so I profusely apologize for that. It won't happen again, and I'll go ahead and say this right now. I will be doing a live stream of World of Warships either next Monday or next Tuesday. That is going to be, let me actually get you the date. It will be April 24th and 25th next week. Don't know the time. Just keep an eye on my Twitter or my Facebook page. I will post both there. So if you are curious about watching that and see me play live, hopefully we'll actually have a better time than what happened the other day. So once again, I profusely apologize for that. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. So survivability, we have 15,600. It's about middle of the range. It's not the greatest. The Octavoy has a little bit more with about 1,000 more HP, something like that. So it's all right. Yeah. Now, do keep in mind my captain also has survivability expert, so it's actually a little bit more than what you would normally see on a regular Benson. So this number is not the norm for the stock Benson without a captain. Main batteries, you have 5 main guns, 127 millimeters. They have a 3.3 second reload time, 5.3 turn time, 87 meter dispersion with a 1,800 HE shell damage with an 8% fire chance. AP does 2,100 with a 10.5 kilometer range and 792 meters per second initial shell velocity. So, of course, there are obviously the USN destroyer guns, so whenever they fire, it's a very lofty shell arc. This is probably a good time to go ahead and point out that at this point, the AP is fairly decent, especially for any broadside light cruiser. You can definitely Citadel, so do keep in mind whenever you do see that broadside. Definitely use your AP because you can do pretty good damage, especially with your very high reload rate. You can really punish anyone for showing you a broadside. So that's something you can do. And can I say, I really do love the dry dock. This is the new premium dry dock that they released. You can only get it if you have a premium account with World of Warships, and it looks really nice. Allows you to see your ship outside the water. There are 3 different ports. There's a destroyer port, a cruiser port, and a battleship port. So obviously different size ships require different size ports, so it's still really cool. Now moving on to torpedoes, you have 2 quintuple 533 millimeter torpedoes, 109 second reload time, 6 second on the turn times, and 11,600 max damage with a 9.2 kilometer range, and detectability range by sea is 1.1. They are the 55 knots. These would be the same torpedoes you would get with the Mahan after you upgraded the torpedoes, but of course, when I had the Mahan, I did not upgrade those torpedoes. So, fairly sneaky, very nice long range. You can definitely invis-fire, and this is probably when you really start to feel that you have the ability of being able to be a very versatile ship, being both a gunboat and a somewhat decent torpedo boat. Obviously, the Japanese still have better torpedoes as far as speed and damage, but not so much as detectability. USN actually have better detectability on their torpedoes than Japanese, even though that they recently did get a buff for the Japanese torpedoes, but still pretty nice. Having that additional range, yeah, really nice to have. Now, AA defense is alright. It is a stock Benson. You have 6 single 12.7 millimeter Browning Mark II mod. They have a average damage of 23 with a 1.2 kilometer, and then your main guns offer additional AA. Average damage is 48 with a 5.0 kilometer range. Now, the Benson does have the ability to upgrade her AA defense. You will lose a gun, and I almost want to say probably at this point it would be a good idea to start getting that additional AA. Now, it's obviously a trade-off. You lose your additional gun, lose the potential of being able to shoot, but you also, if you see a CV, and this is probably a good point where CVs are starting to really become lethal, having that additional AA will be beneficial for you. Now, maneuverability, she does have the speed flag on her, 39.9 knots max speed. Turning circle radius is 570 meters, so pretty tight. And rudder shift time is 4 seconds. A little bit lazy on the rudder shift time, but it's not too bad. This is very beneficial for any USN destroyers because obviously you can no longer invisifire, which means that you will need to actively dodge and try to avoid getting hit. So having the very tight turning circle radius and the very quick rudder shift time is very beneficial. Moving on to concealment, and this is with both a concealment module and a captain that has concealment expert, 5.8 kilometers. Just keep in mind that's 100 meters less than the Shimakaze. And it is very beneficial to have that additional 100 meters. You can at least outspot the Shimakaze, I believe. You won't be able to outspot the Fletcher. I think the Fletcher can get down to 5.5 kilometers, something like that. So having that very low detectability is very beneficial. You will be able to invisifire with your torpedoes. You have around actually I think about 3.6 kilometers, something like that, or 3.4. So you definitely have the ability of invisifiring with your torpedoes, which is not bad. It's pretty nice. Moving on to upgrades, everything you see here, all these modules are the same. There's not much difference between them. As she's fully stocked, and once again, like I said, you can upgrade your hull to B hull and you get additional health, but the C hull is where you get additional maneuverability. You get reduced rudder shift time. It drops it down to 2.7 seconds. You will lose your gun, but you'll get additional AA. You'll get additional Oerlikons and Bofors, which will do a little bit more damage. 23 and I believe 14. So it's a trade-off. I kind of like having the additional guns because not every single game you're going to be in, you're going to have a carrier, and having that additional gun is beneficial, taking out other ships. Moving on to my captain actually has not changed since I showed off the Mahan. Everything's exactly the same. I have preventive maintenance, last stand, survivability expert, demolition expert, and concealment expert. My captain is a 16-point captain. He will have 3 additional points. I will probably be going for RDF. RDF is very beneficial because you will be able to know at least the general location of the nearest ship to you, so you can at least hunt down any destroyers that do decide to get a little bit close to you. So that is beneficial. Now, I haven't decided on the additional points. Eventually I want to get torpedo acceleration for the gearing, but that's obviously going to be a little bit of time, so I might be changing that as we proceed up through the USN destroyer line, but we'll see. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump into a replay with the Benson, which was actually my very first game with her, and my captain wasn't fully trained, but still pretty good game all around. So see you there. Alright everyone, welcome back to a replay with the Benson, and this is actually my very first battle I had with her, and it's interesting to say the very least. I really don't want to spoil it. It was good. It was definitely good. We are currently playing on 2 brothers. We have 2 North Carolinas, a Alabama, Bismarck, and Eisenhower, Otago, Pensacola, York, Bajani, a Benson, and 2 Hataru. On the enemy team, there is a North Carolina, 3 Alabamas, Scharnhorst, Kutuzal, Pensacola, Miyoko, Cleveland, Alba, Kagero, and Akatsuki. Now, one thing you probably should keep an eye on is the 3 Alabamas. They do something that, I mean, normally I would say is good, but if, well, I really don't want to spoil it too much, but whether or not how they did it can be debated. Because it was a good idea, but we'll see as the game progresses. I don't want to spoil it too much. Don't want to spoil it. So I'm going to go ahead and try to push to D. And this is where things going to be interesting. Now, one little side note is my captain is at least has concealment expert, but the ship does not have the concealment expert module. So it's not as low as it could be. It definitely can be a little bit lower. I think it can get around to around 6.4, 6.1, something like that. We do spot the enemy Miyoko that has appeared, at least on the southern section of the island, and I am going to go ahead and push in. Now, there are 2 enemy destroyers on the enemy team, and that's something I do have to kind of keep an eye for. Now, granted, it's an Akatsuki and I believe a Kagero, so they will have a lower detection than I will, but I will have a much higher a higher DPM than they do. So I'll go ahead and pop smoke, laying down a smoke screen, allowing any of my cruisers ability to push in, as well as my North Carolina. So this will prove beneficial for our team, and this is one good little tactic, especially if you are trying to help your team push into a cap, but it doesn't look like our team's really pushing in. Don't really know why. Now, originally I did slow up, thinking I would send my smoke screen and fire, but then obviously I realized I'm the only one that is currently spotting them, more or less. Now, the Otago might be spotting them as well. Now, going back to the enemy team, you can see 3 Alabamas are just pushing. Now, once again, this tactic, I'm all for. It's so nice to see battleships pushing. They do have a Cleveland that is coming along with them. And go ahead and open up. There's no cruisers particularly near me, and I am kind of pulling away. And the torpedoes on the Benson are pretty good. They do have a 9.2 kilometer range. We might get lucky and might get a hit. There we go. We got a hit on the Alabama, and he is flooding, but he does use his damage control. So if we can get a fire on him, he is going to be sitting on that fire for the next little bit. And I'm going to try my very best, but I'm not getting particularly lucky. Unfortunately, I do go outside the range of my ability to fire on this Alabama. Now, granted, right here you can technically fire. You just are not being helped by the computer with the aiming. That's one tactic you can actually do, which I guess you can almost use for invisifiring. Gonna have to try that out sometime. So, focusing on this Alabama, he is pushing in. The Cleveland is taking quite a bit of hits. Probably is going to go down here very, very quickly. We only have 3 battleships, 2 cruisers, and 2 destroyers on this side, holding off against 3 battleships, 4 cruisers, I think, and I think all their destroyers went out west towards A, I believe. Now, the Cleveland does violently go down, just burnt to death. The Otago is sitting in my smoke screen. Do let them know that my smoke screen has disappeared, and this Otago is essentially sitting broadside against 3 Alabamas. He definitely needs to get out of here. Now, just gonna go ahead and drop more torpedoes. I am detected. The Otago should be able to get out of the way of my torpedoes. Should not pose a problem. And there are the secondaries coming in from the North Carolinas. It's definitely time to get away. Unfortunately, our engine is knocked out. Should be able to get away. This Alabama right here is very low in health. Want to take him out if we can. He has turned away. Can we get a torpedo hit? That would be nice. These Alabamas are pushing quite heavily, and it looks like one of the destroyers is moving to B, and we do take out the Alabama with our torpedoes. So that is our first kill of the game. And we have just lost our Otago and Bismarck. This Alabama is very low in health. Be nice to set him aflame. I am aiming a little bit too low. Need to get that superstructure to actually get a possible fire. Unfortunately, he does go down. Fortunately, he does go down. So that is taken care of. Now there's only one Alabama left on the side. They still have the majority of the cruisers. They still have the Alba, the Miyoko, and the Pensacola that are still kind of pushing north. But once again, I think if the cruisers kind of stayed closer to their battleships, might have done a little bit better job, especially against destroyers being around. So, continuing up the harassment, obviously I can fire without any fear of being fired back because, well, the Hatsuharu was the Alabama's main focus. Unfortunately, we do lose our Hatsuharu. Now, the Alabama knows I'm here, and this is something to keep in mind. He knows I'm here, and I'm trying to make the decision which way to go. I go ahead and turn inward towards this island. Fortunately, dodged all those shots from the Pensacola. Now, this is something you gotta keep your mind on where your enemy ships are going, because now I'm gonna be in a good place to actually hopefully ambush him, even though once again he knows I'm here. He knows I'm here, and yet he keeps pushing in, and he'll keep pushing in no matter what happens. Now, there are torpedoes incoming. I'm gonna actually have to try to slow up. It does look like he's trying to slow up, and I don't really know why. Go ahead and pop my smoke. Yes, I know I'm within 2 kilometers, but these torpedoes are really good. There we go. Second kill of the game. And now with him dead, I can use the smoke to the full advantage of mine, allowing me to fire without impunity. And we get a few hits on the Alba. We do set him aflame. And our team is in the lead right now. Okay, never mind. We just lost our North Carolina to Alba Torps, which is not particularly the greatest thing, but oh well. So now we're on even settings. We do have a points advantage. Caps are even as well. And it's really nice feeling being able to shoot over this island. Hopefully landing hits on this Alba. There we go, 2,000, not too bad. Not too bad. Fire would be nice. Now, the enemy team has definitely won the western region. They have taken full control of A, and it looks like they are probably going to be pushing towards B. We do have a friendly North Carolina that is trying to prevent them from pushing easily into B. This Alba is burning quite nicely. Be nice to get a second fire on him. He is going to be going outside my range here soon, and probably need to assist over at B. I think at this point, the enemy team's not really pushing hard. There is a Kutuzov selling broadside, and yeah, probably not the greatest idea. And they're all just selling broadside. Can we get this kill? That would be nice. He's very low on health, 356 points of health. And unfortunately, we do not. Oh well, the Pensacola does take the kill, but that's a Kutuzov that we do not have to worry about, which is always good in my book, because Kutuzovs are the bane of destroyers, besides British cruisers. And with that taken care of, I figure our team can at least handle an Alba and Pensacola fairly easily. I'm actually going to push over towards B and try to assist. Now, unfortunately for us, we do have a Gneisenau now that is sitting very far away from anyone. Not really helping us at all. The Alabama just took out the Alba, so yeah. The east stand side is definitely secured. Time to move over towards A and try to assist on the prevention of them pushing into B. So let's get that done as quickly as we can. Now, going back to the Benson, I have to say, I really enjoy the Benson. It's I guess at the point where it really does demonstrate the versatility of USN destroyers, being both a gunboat and torpedo boat, being able to drop torpedoes, basically invisifiring torpedoes at a range of 9.2 kilometers, but also having those very quick firing guns, albeit they're a little bit low on the damage output, but they're quick firing. The fire chance is somewhat decent, especially if you get Demolition Expert. Very beneficial. But unfortunately for us, I think this North Carolina is going to go down. He does have a Sean horse that is pushing in quite heavily. Being a little bit careful here because I don't want to drop torpedoes and the North Carolina is going to die. And yeah, he just went down. So yep, torpedoes are going to be a benefit. Just trying to get a good lead on him. Looks like the Sean horse is now turning somewhat north. It looks like the Hatsuharu has attracted somewhat of their attention. Even the Gneisenau, once again, like I said, I don't think the Gneisenau is being particularly helpful. Now, we were spotted for a moment by the Sean horse. Unfortunately, we got a little bit too close. So he knows that at least there is a Benson here that is possibly dropping torpedoes. And we are detected once again by the Sean horse. And I think this probably would be a good time to go ahead and drop smoke. We do land a torpedo, cause some flooding, slowing up as quick as possible. Hopefully gonna disappear from view. He does open fire, does land a somewhat small hit, just over penetration. So definitely not too bad. The guns are, once again, not too bad. They're decently quick, especially if you get like basics firing training. Definitely helps put out the HE as quick as possible. Looks like he's trying to dodge more torpedoes incoming from the Hatsuharu. But unfortunately, he does dodge them. We finally get a fire, and it looks like he has used his damage control again. So he is susceptible to any possible further fires from us. Let's see, can we get a fire? This is completely based on RNG. Now we have lost our Hatsuharu. Finally get a fire, and he has dropped torpedoes. That was kind of predictable. Kind of expected that to occur. He does blind fire trying to get us. Just gonna try to keep up the harassment. We get not a huge damage roll, only 891. Trying to stay in the smoke as long as possible to try to take out the Sean horse. Definitely would help our team because the enemy team has pulled themselves back. They have two battleships. They have that North Carolina available for them, and the North Carolina is sitting fairly high as far as health is concerned. Now I do have to be careful of the Kagero because he could have torps, and that's something I don't really want to deal with. Now this Sharn is still burning, but I don't think he's going to be able to die due to my fires. And yep, it looks like the Gneisenau now finally has decided to assist and does go down, which is unfortunate. Now, finally out in the open, just going to go ahead and once again be a pester. This is something USN destroyers definitely are very good at with their guns, is being a pester. Now, the North Carolina has basically got rid of the fire that we did set, and there is the enemy Kagero. Yes, that is definitely a target we want to get rid of. Focus him down. The North Carolina we could possibly take care of fairly easily. Our team is down south, currently capping C. And can we take out this Kagero? We do have the friendly Gneisenau now that is pushing towards that North Carolina, hoping to use his torpedoes. This North Carolina is very low in health. But, oh, come on. He's zigging and zagging. And unfortunately, we have just lost our Gneisenau now. This, oh, come on. Kill this North Carolina. Alright, that taken care of. Torpedoes away on the North Carolina. I no longer have smoke, since once again my captain does not have superintendent, which means that I don't have an additional smoke. But we do get a fire on this North Carolina. He is going to burn down. Go ahead, drop off my second spread of torpedoes. But I think we're going to be lucky enough and get him with our first spread. If not, our fire takes him out. There we go. Dead North Carolina. So our team earned a victory. We brought home 343,051 silver, 5,056 XP, and 253 free XP. We did 125,963 points of damage, 261 shell hits, 9 torpedo hits, 1 plane shot down, 1 incapacitation, 4 kills, 7 fires, 5 flooding, 4 defended base caps, and 1 assisted base capture. We did a base XP of 2,174. We did 26,000 against one of the Alabamas, 17 against the other, and around 7 against that North Carolina, with additional 7,000 against the Hakaym. So honestly, not too bad. Our high explosive did 46,545 points of damage, and our torpedoes did a whopping 45,000. Now here's definitely a true benefit of Demolition Expert is the fires. 18,312 points of damage was caused by fires. Now obviously not the greatest fire chance there is for a destroyer, but still pretty decent. Our floods did around 16,087 points of damage. After everything was said and done, 193,081 silver was what we brought home, put in the bank. And once again, I really am enjoying the Benson. This is, like I said once again, where the USN destroyers start to shine. It's really where the versatility of the USN destroyers allows you to use both your guns as well as your torpedoes instead of always having to rely on ambushing and getting into those close quarters just to get your torpedoes off to take out a big lumbering battleship or cruiser that decides to poke into your range. So this is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.